You are just minutes into a flight on the world's largest passenger airliner, the Airbus A380. The takeoff was smooth, the sky is clear, and the journey has just begun. This aircraft, a marvel of modern engineering, is a testament to the safety and sophistication of 21st century aviation. With its two spacious decks with silent engines and advanced technology, it's a symbol of effortless, secure air travel. On board, 440 passengers are settling in for the long haul to Sydney. They're reading books, watching movies, or simply dozing off, with no hint that their lives are about to change forever. The flight deck is commanded by a highly experienced five-man crew led by the seasoned Captain Rugard de Crespigny, a veteran pilot with over 35 years of experience. Then, without a moment's warning, a catastrophic failure shatters the calm. A massive bang, like a clap of thunder, rocks the entire aircraft. Passengers watch in horror as smoke and debris stream from the wing. The cockpit is immediately flooded with the chaotic chime of alarms, over 100 of them at once. The crew is faced with an unprecedented emergency, and in the span of a few seconds, the captain must make a critical choice, a decision that will mean the difference between life and death. What happened? What went wrong? Bear with us as we uncover the incredible and terrifying story of Qantas Flight 32. This is a story that begins on November 4th, 2010, on a routine flight from Singapore to Sydney. Just 4 minutes after takeoff, the very technology designed to protect them would be put to the ultimate test when a catastrophic engine failure turned the routine flight into a desperate fight for survival. As the plane climbed through 7,000 feet, the number 2 engine, one of the powerful Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines, suffered what's known as an uncontained failure. This is one of aviation's worst nightmares. A component within the engine broke apart, sending shrapnel, large, high velocity metal fragments, out through the engine's protective casing. The force of the explosion tore a gaping hole in the engine housing. For passengers on the left side of the aircraft, it was a terrifying sight. From the flight deck, it was pure chaos. The crew described a massive bang that shook the entire aircraft. The cockpit was immediately overwhelmed. The sound of the explosion was followed by a symphony of alarms and warnings as over 100 separate alerts flooded the flight deck displays. The pilots were faced with a situation that was unprecedented in a modern, automated airliner. The shrapnel from the explosion had not only crippled the engine, but had also severed a multitude of critical systems. They had lost one of their four generators, shutting off key electrical systems. Two out of the four hydraulic systems were failing, causing the pilots to lose control of key flight surfaces. A fuel line was severed, and the aircraft was now leaking fuel at a rapid rate. The landing gear on one side was damaged and would not retract. The pilots had no reliable information on the status of their systems, and the plane was becoming increasingly difficult to control. It was a race against time, with a damaged heavy aircraft and a list of failures that seemed to grow with every passing second. Amid the chaos, the crew's training took over. Instead of panicking, Captain de Crespigny and his team, including First Officer Matt Hicks and Second Officer Mark Johnson, remained remarkably calm. They systematically began to work through the dizzying number of alerts, methodically diagnosing the problems and cross checking procedures. They had to figure out what was working and what wasn't, all while managing a severely damaged aircraft with numerous systems offline. They realized they had lost key hydraulic and electrical systems, and that the engine's fire suppression system had failed to deploy. The plane was flying asymmetrically, its controls sluggish and unresponsive. The decision was made to return to Singapore for an emergency landing. This was not a simple task, with the massive aircraft dangerously heavy and difficult to control. The crew spent over an hour circling, burning off fuel to bring the plane's weight down to a safe level for landing. This required complex manual calculations and a constant battle against the aircraft's asymmetrical handling. To make matters worse, the landing gear on one side was damaged and would not extend. The crew had to use a manual gear lowering procedure, a task that required physical strength and precision, adding to the tension in the cockpit. Throughout this entire ordeal, the crew maintained an air of calm professionalism, their focus singular: bring the plane and everyone on board home safely. As they approached the runway, the challenges mounted. The damaged engine was difficult to control, and the plane was sluggish and slow to respond. The crew performed a perfect textbook emergency landing, bringing the massive plane to a smooth touchdown despite its heavy weight. But the ordeal was not over. The crew had to fight a fire in the damaged engine and manage the evacuation of over 400 people from a damaged aircraft with fuel still leaking from its wing. After landing, a critical issue arose. The parking brake had failed due to the severed hydraulic lines, and the engine was still running. It took nearly 3 tense hours for the passengers to be safely evacuated, but in the end, all 469 people on board survived without serious injury. The incident is a legendary example of modern airmanship, teamwork, and crisis management. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau's investigation found that the engine failure was caused by a faulty component, a manufacturing defect in an oil pipe that had been leaking for weeks. The crew's ability to remain calm and systematically address an overwhelming number of failures on a state of the art aircraft turned what could have been a catastrophic disaster into a miraculous success story. It stands as a powerful testament to the rigorous training pilots receive today and the importance of human skill in an age of automated flight. The legacy of Qantas Flight 32 led to worldwide inspections of the engines, significant changes to maintenance protocols, and a reaffirmation that, in the face of the impossible, a well trained crew can perform miracles.